Hey Shane, bada bing, bada boom.
What are we sleeping with the fishes?
Yes, we are.
Welcome to this beer chat with the beer guys, and we are drinking some Bobbing Bobber beer.
Right.
Sleeps with the fishes.
Sleeps with the fishes.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's an Italian Pilsner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, slightly different than what you expect.
And we were at Luxy13 at their hop party.
Yep, feeling Luxy.
And we ran into Lane from Bobbing Bobber. Now, Bobbing Bobber has been around for a few years. I think it's been 5-6 years now.
7.
7 years.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, he's the head brewer there. We've had him on the show before.
Yep.
And he loves talking about beer. And
Mm-hmm.
he gave us the insight on this. They use some of the hops from Luxy13 Hop Yard in this beer, Howard Tower hops, I believe. And but yeah, he's been the head brewer and he's part owner of the Bobbing Bobber in Hutchinson.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, if you haven't been, well, of course you got to be in the area. But if you haven't been to the Bobbing Bobber, you got a fun tap room because it's really got this whole fishing theme to it. And they've done it up well.
The tables look like docks.
Yeah. In fact, they got them from a dock company.
Right, a local dock company, by the way.
Yep. And they got all kinds of fishing stuff on the wall, and all the tap handles are fish shaped, and all the beers have something to do with that. So it's fun.
Exactly. They have some really good brews. Of course, it sleeps with fishes. This is an Italian Pilsner. Can I say that?
Nope. But it's an Italian Pilsner.
Which is really good.
This is only beer number 1, Shane.
It's beer number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's only 5.1 on the ABV and 42 or 44 on the IBU. So it's a good, easy drinker beer.
Very sessionable.
Yeah.
Right?
But Dan and Lane and Mark there at Bobbing Bobber have done a great job and always very community involved. They've always got something going on. They got the Duck food truck deal. They always have a Halloween thing. They've got a block party. They got this Christmas time. They got.
I think they even have car shows.
Car show. They got several in the summer. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's fun. Always food trucks, whatever. So neat place. Good place to use a hop passport.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
And when you come in to use a hop passport, you can try one of these. But they also have something that's not on the beer menu on their website. But I really like it, and it's different. And I've tried this a few weeks ago. Actually, it's an oat lager.
Right. Very. I don't know if I've heard that before.
No, the oat in the beer really smooths out the back end.
It does.
So like lagers kind of have a sharp bitterness to them at the end, and it's not a hop bitterness. It's from the yeast.
Yep.
And the oat tones that down, way down, actually.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, that was very good. So, they'd always experiment with something new.
Yeah.
So
I really like their IPA.
Oh, yeah, a Crappie Flop.
Crappie Flop.
Crappie
Flop, that's a good one.
Yep, and another one that's very popular, there's Want to Shake Your Tree. And no, that doesn't sound too fishy, but it's a peach ale.
Peach ale, yeah, and it's nice.
It's not overdone.
No, it's a nice summer drink.
It is.
Something
it's
very light and refreshing.
Yeah, and they've always got some bocks, tackle bock.
Yeah,
and they've got other ones that are very good. So
they've got stouts. They've got the whole wide gamut.
Yep. And they're always tweaking them, So
yep.
So anyway, but yeah, Lane has been there, and he's always enjoys trying something new, and if it doesn't come out just the way he wants it, he'll tweak it the next time.
That's right. And we got a chance to talk to Lane up at the Luxy13 Hop Party.
We did. Their 4th anniversary up there in Watkins, Minnesota. And Lane was very insightful. So we sat in the hop yard there and chatted with Lane. In fact, maybe we should just go to that. Huh?
Let's do that.
All right. Here's Lane Wanous from Bobbing Bobber.
Well, again, we're here at the Luxy13 Hop Yard Tour. They're celebrating their annual event here, and Greg Johnson along with Shane Zeppelin, Chad Zeppelin, and Lane Wanous is here. Lane, of course, the head brewer at Bobbing Bobber Brewing in Hutchinson, Minnesota. And hey, Lane.
How's it going?
Thanks for taking a little moment. I know you've been down there. You got some beer here.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about what beer and what hops and that kind of stuff, but nice to have you here and get your perspective on some stuff. First time we've ever been here at pretty neat place. What do you think, Shane? We got a tour with Joe a little bit earlier.
Yeah, that was great. That was a fun tour, and it's great to learn about the hops and the different varieties, what they're used for.
Just about the history of this place.
Yeah, exactly. The history. Look, Greg keeps talking, and we've only got one mic we got to pass around. We got Lane mic'd up here.
Lane has one, and and 3 of us have one. Well, how does that work? Is he special?
We're the ones in yellow, so yeah.
We're the bowling guys.
Yeah, we're the bowling guys.
Yeah, so my wife won a shirt, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Nice.
we got in the drawing to.
So she was Luxy.
She was Luxy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
catchy.
that was right after she's Luxy marrying me, right?
Oh, of course.
But
I'd say that's unluxy.
yeah, take that, Mike.
Okay, all right. So yeah, no, it was a great information, and I'm surprised to learn that he does his own pellets here. You know, where they don't ship them out, and they can actually process them right here.
Yeah. Well, and that's I too. I thought, well, maybe they just harvest them and then they ship them off, but they do the whole thing here, pelletizing, and well, he said they dry them, pelletize them, and ship them then to people like yourself. That
Pretty
utilize.
local.
Yeah, and that's really nice that they can service several breweries, smaller breweries in around central Minnesota and maybe beyond. I don't know, but yeah, and it's kind of a cloudy day, but that's good for us. It's kind of nice. We're not burning up in the sun out here.
Nice weather.
Yeah, some sprinkles earlier, no big deal, and it didn't pour on us. It's not windy. I gotta like it.
Yeah, I mean it's a great day to have this, and like you say, Greg, it's not so hot. It's actually, and the weather's been pretty good this summer as far as temperature wise. You know, a little bit of rain, which maybe is good for the hops. I don't know. Right? Yeah, good for beer drinking. Anyway,
It is good beer drinking weather, that's for sure.
exactly. So Lane, so you've been at Bobbing Bobber how many years?
Been there 7 years.
Okay.
At the
And I know we talked about this on the show before, but just remind the audience, like, how did you get started in brewing for Bobbing Bobber?
Well, I originally started as a home brewer, as most of us did back in those days. Got a hold of Dan Hart, he's the president and CEO of the company, and we started talking beer and met up somewhere. And he tried some of my stuff, and he's like, well, let's make an adventure out of this. So it was pretty much all over after that. It started with the build out, still home brewing together, trying to refine recipes before doors open, and it just kind of worked out really good. It took a little bit for us to find a place, which you look back at it now, it was almost beneficial for us, because then it gave us more time to hone in our mains that we have on now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, once we were doors open, it's, we haven't been looking back since then. So
I know one of my favorites there is a Crappie Flop. That's an IPA.
Yep.
That's really a good one. And I had one recently, and I don't know if this is going to be on tap again, but I really suggest the oatmeal lager, which I'm not a lager fan as much, but surprisingly, the oatmeal takes kind of the bitterness out of that, the back edge.
Okay.
And I really like the oatmeal lager. So how did that come about?
So that was kind of a collaboration between me and my, now past assistant brewer. He moved on to another brewery. We just got together. He loved brewing with oats, wanted to do something with oats. And I said, well, let's do something outside the box with oats, because you can do an oatmeal stout. You can do so many like dark variations of beers with oats. We wanted to really showcase kind of the oat profile of the beer. But yet keep it lager-like, which is, unusual.
It is unusual, and I know Greg had one too, and I think he enjoyed it.
Well, I was kind of surprised as well, because you tried it. I had the Sleeping with the Fishes, which is your Italian Pilsner, very tasty. I think, aren't you having that? Yeah.
Yes, and well done. I pretty impressed. So I got about half done so far. Just can't stop sipping it.
We were pretty happy with that beer this year. It turned out really well for us.
Nice work, Lane.
Thank you.
Yeah. But the lager was, like you say, very smooth, rounded off that back end of it, where it didn't have a sharp edge to it, and kind of something different you wouldn't expect in a lager. So.
Right. So the grits on that is really unlike any other. I mean, we were really heavy loaded with oats.
Sure.
Just to produce that mouthfeel, that body in the beer.
And we were a little outside the box too, because it's an outside the box style. I mean, there's
Sure.
you don't really hear of an oat lager,
Right, that's very different. Yeah.
So we kind of let the imagination run wild. We use different variations of hops, sea hops versus like New Zealand hops, things like that,
Okay.
combos like that. Just went outside the box on it, and then we used a pretty traditional lager yeast on it, and we cold hopped it as well.
Oh,
Which cold hopping is it's been proven to actually extract more hop flavor and profile out of the hops without getting what some brewers would call hop creep. Especially if you get really heavy dry hopping, you can run the risk of getting hop creep in.
hop
the beer.
creep. That's a new term I haven't heard before. Hop
It
creep.
can come with dry hopping and heavy whirlpool hopping. You can get that creep, which is just that kind of, we call it it's like a stringent bitterness that
Sure. Yep.
kind of hangs on to the beer.
And I know there's people have said, oh, I don't like that because it has that weird bitterness at the end. That
Right.
that
It's
might
not
be
very mellow, acceptable bitterness.
that might be hop
It
creep
could
then.
be hop creep.
I've met some creepy hops before, but not hop.
Creepy.
As you can probably see behind us, they've got a tour going on. Joe is doing another tour, and a good crowd there checking out. And a lot of people are learning about what's a hop yard is all about. And I'm kind of impressed. Anyway, didn't mean to sidetrack there, but I know, Chad, you had a question about the beer that you're tasting there.
Yeah. So, well, first, how did you adventure with Luxy13 and their hop yard?
So, if memory serves me correct, I think we've been working with them now for 4 or 5 years now. Don't quote me on that. They came to us and were interested in doing like wet hop beering, and Jacob actually at Spilk Grains was the first. He's the head brewer and owner at Spilk Grains. Came to me, he's like, he was doing some wet hop beers with these guys. He's like, well, reach out to these guys, because we were looking at doing a wet hop beer, but you really can't find anyone that has wet cones to brew without shipping and a bunch of costs, and so we wanted to find someone more local. So Luxy was a perfect fit. So with wet hopping, they pick it off the vine and they basically deliver it. It's got to be on the wort within 24 hours, or the hops start depleting, the oils start depleting.
Okay.
So it's got to be a pretty tuned, short process from picking to the time it sees, our wort stand. So it worked out great, nice and local, close, and that's how we kind of got introduced with Luxy, is with our wet hop beers.
And this beer that I'm drinking sleeps with the fishes, right?
Yes.
And that uses some of these hops here.
Correct.
Okay. Can you tell me anything about the certain hop that made this beer so good?
Oh, absolutely. So the reason the beer is so good is because of the hops. It has nothing to do with the brewer, just so you guys know.
Oh, modest. Modest.
But no, it was fun working with these guys. So I used their Hallertau. That's their showcase hops in this beer.
This one?
I think you're right.
I didn't look on the way up.
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
Yep, this row.
Okay. So it's kind of a cross breed between great noble hop character and some of that classic American character. So what I mean by that is you get that noble classic hop flavor aroma profile when you're talking like grassy, herbal, smooth, mellow, because the alpha acids are really low on these hops, so they're really mellow, the bitterness wise.
And noble hops are kind of more of a German thing.
They are,
Yeah.
correct. And the reason for that is just the nobility. It's just they're so soft. The bitterness is the alpha acids in them are so low. They're a real soft profile to begin with.
Sure.
So they work great in German style beers for that reason. Just creating balance. That's all you really want.
Which I notice in like a German beer that there's not a sharpness to them. They're very mellow. They're very the hops seem to complement the malts really well.
Right, and that has a lot to do with their alpha acid and beta acid levels. They're typically pretty low, which means you don't get that typical American hop bite, because
Yeah.
American hops are more more higher in their alphas and betas, different acids.
Which works really well for pale ales.
Exactly. Yeah, you want to showcase that hop.
Right.
And usually the malt bill is just kind of the canvas for the hop.
Sure. Okay.
Well, and that's, I guess, that's the interesting part of what talking to a brewer versus just us guys. Is that you think about that prior to making a beer, putting it together. Okay, well, how is this profile going to match up with this and stuff? And of course, I'm sure sometimes it's just an experiment, right? Sometimes you go, maybe not, huh?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's, when you get a new ingredient, you got to trial it, right? Because my system's different than Excelsior's, and everyone else's system is different, reacts differently to different ingredients. You can get a good honed-in baseline on it, but some of it is definitely trial and error. It is definitely trial and error.
Well, that's maybe some of the fun at the same time, perhaps.
That's what makes it craft.
Is that right? Yeah, right.
Craft.
And the craft beer industry, as you and I were talking off mic a little bit earlier, has kind of went through some changes in the last 10 years, and it's going to go through probably a whole bunch more in the next 10. But what's hot today might be different tomorrow or next year or whatever. But having a hop yard like this, maybe in nearby, does that give you well, I know I can get this hop or that hop, and it's fresh and good? Or does that make any difference? Or
It is for a craft, for a local craft brewer. It's kind of fun because you kind of got that Yakima feeling without having the Yakima around.
Sure.
And I'm not digging on Yakima by any means. They're a great hop farm, been around for
sure,
tons of years. These bigger breweries, they go out and hand select these hops in these bigger hop farms because they can.
Sure.
So to have that same experience,
right,
obviously on a smaller scale, where you can come out and work hand in hand with your local hop farmer, it's a unique experience, and it definitely brings a uniqueness to the brew.
So do you find that as a small craft brewer and a small hop yard, can you maybe work together on a variety of hop that might work for a special brew that you want to build?
Yeah, you can. These guys, they plant varieties, that work for them. So there's limitations to that. But also their hops, where they're grown, bring different profiles to the table. Like the Hallertauer, for example, I call it a good blend of American and noble characters, because I still get noble characters off the Hallertauer, but I do get some of those classic American profiles too. So with their Hallertauer, when I whirlpooled the Hallertauer in the Sleeps with the Fish, I noticed right away herbal, little grassy, and as the whirlpool kept spinning, I started getting some of those classic American aromas, like citrus was a big one, almost like lemongrassy.
Yeah.
On the finished profile is the biggest thing I get off this hop, which makes it fun.
Yeah.
It's not your traditional Hallertauer, it's a hybrid, is what I would call it at that point.
And this being an Italian Pilsner, what makes that different than just maybe a German-style Pilsner?
So, I mean, there's, depending on who you talk to, some guys just call an Italian Pilsner a dry hop German Pilsner, basically, because the malt bill and everything, you're pretty much splitting hairs. We use a malt that's growing more in the southern region that supports the Italian Pilsner profile.
Okay.
So for me, I get more of a saltine cracker kind of a flavor up front, and then it kind of melonizes into that beautiful hop profile.
Sure.
So we do a little more selective of our malt, and then obviously the hops are going to be your classic German hops.
Yeah.
Just keep it more towards the region.
Okay. And so Joe mentioned something about he's got a hop variety that's kind of new, Vista.
Yes.
Is that something you guys kind of thinking about, maybe doing something with the Vista hop?
We have talked about it. I haven't tried their Vista. So right now we use their Hallertauer and their Comet, because we do a pale ale with their Comet.
Sure.
So it's strictly just their Comet. You can't really call it a smash because it's multiple malts.
Right.
But we use exclusively their Comet hop.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I did the Comet this year, but I underestimated how much I used, so I ended up doing a Centennial Comet blend.
Okay.
Because I didn't have enough Comet on hand to finish the dry hop.
Sure.
So that's craft brewing problems there.
Again, that's part of the fun, right?
It is
like,
part of
okay,
the fun,
improvise.
right?
Okay, we don't have this. What are we gonna do about this? Okay, how'd that turn out for you then?
Really good. It's in the tank right now, cold crashing, and we're actually planning on canning that next week, along with our can runs. So we plan on canning that, our Oktoberfest, and then some mainstays as well. So it's going to see the cans. I think it turned out really, really well. The Centennial and the Comet work great together. They're both classic, great American hops.
I like Centennial hop.
Yeah, they're very bright.
And
they got this brightness to them.
That's I like that. I know, Chad, you've got some hops that you kind of lean towards when a beer says it's got certain hops. Which ones are those? I think I know, but
I don't know what you're talking about. Oh yeah, I'm
talking about hops.
Yeah. I was wondering where you're going with that, so I apologize. But
I think you lean towards the Citra or Mosaic.
yeah, I'm more of a Citra. I like a little fruity background, final follow-up taste. So that's kind of my preferred. So I mean, what kind of hops do you use in order to get that citrusy or kind of a fruity background at this point?
More of a grapefruit?
Grapefruit, yeah, that's good stuff too. But
well, our main hop is Citra. We use that in a lot of beers. It's a very versatile hop. It plays well with a lot of different varieties. We really haven't found a variety it doesn't play well with. So if you want, so we like Eldorado too. It just brings that nice little juicy, fruity, like watermelon character to the table, melony character. So if you combine it, it plays well with so many hops. It's a very versatile hop, and even stand alone, it's great. I hope they never stop growing it, because I'd be really sad.
I think a lot of people would.
Right. I'm a big fan of the Mosaic and Simcoe as well. It's a nice hop.
Oh, yeah, Simcoe's a very nice hop.
And I really lean towards the West Coast style IPAs with a piney.
Okay.
Kind of the, to me, like the pine scent that you get at Christmas time on the Christmas tree. Yep. That mixed with a little Citra. I'm more of the floral hop kind of guy. So that's what I like. How about you, Greg?
Well, I'm kind of with Chad. I do like the Citra Mosaic combination sometimes, but I do like the West Coast as well. So really, I'm pretty easy going there. I was like, I either like it or I don't, And well, for the most part, but I never used to be. I mean, way back when, early on when we first started the show, I was the beer slob, and you couldn't get me to drink a dang IPA. But I was now dark beers. Sure, I was like, hey, I kind of took a liking to those. But you know what? I just find and you probably find with your customer base is that if people are willing to at least try something once in a while, and all of a sudden oh, you know what? That's not so bad. And then you then you start to learn. Oh, it's got that kind of hop. Well, I kind of like that. Then you start to lean towards that and be willing to try other things. And we've always said that on the show. Try other things, and you never know. If you don't like it the first time, at least try it one more time, because it might be just your palate at the time.
Right.
Speaking of dark beers, so like some hops go well with stouts, but then there's also black IPAs or very dark beers, dark in color and also in flavor. So tell us a little bit, Lane, like what hop might go well with like maybe an American stout, not something like too sweet, but just like a nice bold flavor, and then also maybe touch on the same thing when it comes to black IPAs.
So even an American stout, they're going to tend to be more drier than English stouts, English variety of beers. So the focus is going to be on more of that roastiness, right? You really want that to be in the forefront, and really from a bitterness standpoint, you're just looking for a simple 60-minute kettle addition just to add a little bitterness. You don't want the hops to really interfere with that roastiness is all. So from an American style, it'd just be a simple, me personally, I would just do a simple 60-minute like Magnum addition because it's high alpha, it's clean, bitter. You don't got to worry about it getting in the way of your malt profile. So me personally, I would want it to be kind of roasty, dry, and the bitter to balance some of those other maybe possible caramel malts that could sweeten up the beer as it ages out. That's kind of how I would approach it.
Okay. And then as far as a black IPA, what would you think for that?
So black IPA, that's, your workhorse is going to be your malt to get your ABV, so your base malt. And then you're going to want to stay away from things like roasted barley, anything husked, I would say. Anything that would impart, any kind of astringency into the beer. Because like dark husk beer, you really run that fine line of you could impart that astringent bitterness.
Okay.
So I personally would stay away from like unhusked. So like a dehusked Carafa Special 3 is perfect. You got to be careful with that because it's pretty aggressive. Black malt, maybe some chocolate wheat. You could probably layer in some of that. And then the focus there would be more your C hops, black IPA. I'd be thinking maybe not Citra because no one, relies citrus and dark malts really. So I would probably veer away from Citra.
So more of a floral.
Yeah, floral. Maybe a little piney would work good with that.
Sure.
So you could look at like a Chinook.
Yep.
Usually pushes some good pine character. I'm trying to remember what we've made a black IPA.
Yeah, I know. I remember it being really good too.
Yeah, I can't recall the hop bill on it. You can really go any direction you want. You just don't want it to be really clashy with the malt bill. So you're more subtle, like you said, floral. When you say floral, they're going to be very subtle hops. It's something super aggressive. I always think of Citra as being an aggressive hop. It supports well, but can overpower it just as easy.
Yep.
So I would stay away from that. It's really up to what kind of profile you want.
So when it comes to a stout, you want the malt to come through, but the hop to be in the background. Yep. But then the black IPA, you want the hop to kind of come to the foreground with a malty back end.
Yeah. Precisely. And then even the black lager, black IPA, you're showcasing the hops, and that's where it gets tough, right? You look at this opaque beer, and you're not thinking, this is going to be hoppy bitter with hoppy aromas and things like that. You think it's going to be thick, and so it's people drink with their eyes, they look at that, but as soon as they drink it, they're like, this is nothing like what I was expecting. I'm like, exactly. That's
right.
That's fun. That's fun for a brewer. It's like they see one thing and drink and they're like, whoa, that's fun.
So as your average Joe drinker here, and love different styles of beer, I'm learning so much from these professional brewers, and now with Joe being informative on the hop farm,
hops,
there's so much more that goes into the fun of just drinking the beer, right? And there's a lot of background intelligence that goes into it, so it's very much appreciated as a beer drinker because we enjoy drinking it, right?
And we love talking about it. It's fun for us too.
Do you have anything in the works with Luxy at this moment that we might expect maybe in the next 6 months or a year?
Oh, excuse me. As of right now, no. I think the last thing we got coming out with Luxy's product in it is going to be the pale ale, the Comet Pale Ale. And then we kind of, they're going to go in their harvest, and then we'll purchase hops, and then we start, developing recipes or using, the Italian Pilsner. I know we use the Hallertauer and our Maibach as well. As a late addition, but we try to just take their hops, and we know what varieties or what styles of beers we're making on their hops. That way we're not outstretching them too, because they got Gambit, they got a lot of other places they got to get their hops to as well, so we don't want to overstretch them as well either. So we just kind of pick the beers that we put their hops in, and that's what we make.
Chad, you make a good point about enjoying craft beer, but kind of beyond just going and trying it, but just kind of learning a little bit more about what's behind the beer, what it takes to brew the beer, things like, local hops and the different malts that they use and that kind of thing. Just real quick, Lane, do you use any local barleys or any local malts that are grown here in the central Minnesota?
Not in Minnesota. Right now we're working with 2-Track. We've been with 2-Track Malting. I don't know if you guys heard of them. They're out of Bismarck.
Okay.
I've gotten to know Jarrett. He's kind of the main guy I deal with there. So they just got done kicking off a huge facility. I think it was $4 or $5 million project, I think. Don't quote me on that, but that's probably too late for that too. But yeah, they invested a lot in their malting business there, and they're just more volume. They're looking for more volume. A lot of their stuff is locally grown, locally harvested. From my understanding, I think a couple uncles got it started, and they got them all involved. And local farms, local varieties of barley. Right now we get, it's called Brewski. They're Brewski Pale Malt, which honestly, when I first tried it, I did like a mini mash just to get a flavor profile. I had to compare it to Maris Otter. So I did a mini mash of Maris Otter because the flavor profile is just like, this reminds me of Maris Otter. So
He did the mash.
we did the mash, yes.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
So, from a flavor profile experience, it's like this is very comparable to something we're getting over the pond, which is more expensive, just in general, right? Shipping and all that. We can get it closer and have it in our dock in a day and a half versus waiting, and it's more local. You're communicating with the maltster, with the people that are growing it. Whether it's great or if you have issues, you still got that support. To me, that's a big thing.
Well, that's got to be a big thing, I would think. And doing business in the USA versus over the pond.
Right. And everyone has their. I'm not digging on Maris Otter or
No, sure.
Wireman. All those guys got great malts. I mean, they've been doing it for hundreds of years.
Right. Well, there is that.
They kind of know what they're doing.
The history, for sure.
All these guys make great malt.
Well, and that brings me to a little bit like what you and I were talking a little bit earlier. There's so much more that goes into this glass of beer than just some water and hops and whatever.
Yes.
It's getting those products, and then you doing the mini mashes and testing, and then having the personnel and the all the overhead expenses. Somebody says, "Well, gee, it's a glass of beer isn't cheap." Well, it can't be. If you want a good glass of beer, there's more to it than that, and that's.
It's still craft at the end of the day, and we're all of us, or most of us, are small guys in a big pond.
Yep.
We're not going to get the same price break Anheuser-Busch gets when
they're buying a trainload of whatever.
Yeah, they're going probably through a tank or a grain every day. I mean,
so
we don't even compete to that. They're going to get the price break as well as they should, right? That's just kind of how the world works, and we understand that.
The other part is you're also contributing to the local economy. I mean, it's nice to keep your money local, whether it's in the state or at least your local community. And so, sometimes it's a little more, but boy, the flavor profiles and the enjoyment, and then just the social aspect of it, and all that is
more community driven. It's not going to the liquor store and buying a case of Busch and going home.
Sure,
which I'm there again. I'm not digging on Busch or Coors or anyone, but
we don't dig on it either.
But at the same point, they're breweries in towns. You drive community and community growth and bring those community events. Is kind of a big thing, community support.
Exactly, and I know that my wife and I, she works every other weekend, so we have half the weekends in the summer that more normal couples have. But anyway, we enjoy on the weekends that she's got off. We enjoy going to a brewery, to visit a brewery. That's kind of our day out. That's our date day, so to speak, right? So we'll go have a breakfast someplace, and then we go to visit maybe a couple breweries in the afternoon, and we'll just take off in different parts of the state and go a certain direction and kind of see if there's 2 breweries on the way. We've done 4 in one day. That's a little bit too much, but 2 and maybe 3, depending on kind of beers. But in the different breweries, they have such a variety of craft beer that you can get. Like if I'm the DD, I'll get a really light ABV, you know, something that's very low alcohol and have one. She'll have maybe a couple. And then if they sell crawlers, well, that's all the better for me because I'll get a crawler and take it home and then enjoy it when I get home. So, yeah, it's to me, having breweries all around the state of Minnesota, which there's a ton of them, right? And I know that we've seen some close down, but then they get replaced by new ones opening up. So it's kind of a rotating, you know, I guess they're rotating. I guess I'm trying to say is that there might be some that have been out there for a while for whatever reason they close down, but then there's going to be a new one that opens up. But places like Bobbing Bobber that they've been there for how many years?
7. We've been there
7 years. I mean, that's awesome, you know. And I remember my wife and I visited Bobbing Bobber on the day they opened.
So did we.
Yes, and the beer was good, but it was like, well, okay, it's got to grow a little bit. But I mean, every brewery goes through that. So if you've gone to a brewery and maybe the first time you tried it, you thought, well, you know, I don't know if I care for this so much. Make sure you go back there 6 months later or a year later because you know they've grown, especially when the brewmaster has gotten to develop some of their own flavors.
Well, I totally agree, and we've all, you know, you and I, we've been around doing this thing for 15 years with the BeerGuysTV, and we visited how many breweries or tasted how many beers, over 1,000 beers, and it's like after a while, it's like so you kind of get a little picky, but
You do get picky.
But like you, Carol and I do the same. We'll travel around and it's kind of fun. Okay, where's some breweries? Let's go check them out, good, bad, or otherwise. You either like them, you don't. Yeah, that's okay. And what I like and what you like, or Chad, or whatever, it doesn't really matter. So, but that's part of the fun. It's like sample something. Oh, hey, no, I never heard of this kind of a beer or something different.
Right.
Do you find that too? When you're out and about, do you try to pop into a new brewery or?
Out and about. What's that like?
Yeah. You know, that's part of being part of a brewery, isn't it? You're kind of there, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, we've gotten out, and usually when we go away, we'll go to that South Dakota, like Sioux Falls area. you
Sure.
know. There's quite a few good breweries out there. I remember visiting one, Wood Grain. I think
I've been there.
I think
Yeah.
those guys got it figured out. A lot
Yeah,
of good
we
stuff.
enjoyed the beers there.
Yeah, their stuff is really, really good. You know, anything from a classic beer to something wild. I mean, good stuff.
Well, you're gone.
Well, I'm on. That's how I'm on, right? Good thing I know how to edit,
Yeah. Good, very good thing.
right?
Yeah.
Well, Lane, before we wrap this up, I had a question in my head. I'll just start that over. I was going someplace, then I got sidetracked on what you were asking.
Yeah.
You pulled the Chad.
Yeah.
Something about getting out and trying. Like maybe I sidetracked the
beers.
question too.
From classic to
Something wild, yeah. Oh, I know what it was. Okay. So, Lane, before we wrap this up, do you have any collaborations that you're working with some other breweries with coming up soon?
That is a good question. Yeah, I mean, they're still in the talking stage right now. Three Sun Seltzers out of Litchfield. We've communicated a handful of times. We're working on something potentially. I mean, it's just we're talking now. We're going back and forth because you want a beer to make on both systems that are gonna try to be as similar as possible. So we're working on a Hefeweizen right now.
Oh,
So
a good Heffy.
yeah, finding a middle ground for because I'm not a big clove person. So
See, I like the clove. No, you do not, right, Chad?
I'm not a
I
fan.
like the clove. Yeah, and I like the banana clove thing. Some don't.
Yeah, my wife likes she loves Hefeweizens. I like it if it's more the banana, but not
I
so much
agree.
the clove. Except at Christmas time, then it's like okay, it works. The clove works at Christmas,
Okay.
but outside of Christmas, it's like I want the more fruity kind of a.
Yeah, more of that banana ester versus the
Exactly.
phenolics.
It's not really my cup of tea, but I'll drink it because it's beer.
There you go.
No, but yeah, I've tried some, like, you know, when we're out and about, and I enjoy it, but it's just I would rather have like a stout porter, maybe a IPA or a Citra type.
Well, thanks, Lane. I know there's Bobbing Bobber beer to be served up there, and thanks for bringing some out. And,
absolutely. Glad to be here, guys.
A fun event here at Luxy13. And Joe is busy doing that tour, but they've moved down the line there a little bit. So if you hear, he's a knowledgeable man. He's a big, tall guy, too.
Good guy to talk to.
Yeah, right.
Have you guys met Corey and the other guys?
We've not. I think they introduced us real quick. It was like, hey, so we haven't had a chance to chat with them yet. But before it's all said and done, we will. But the nice part is we got to get here with Minnesota Reds, Whites, and Brews, so we didn't have to worry about driving or nothing. That's the way to go. Always use a DD if you can. So, and never drink and drive. So, anyway, so we got it made. Thanks to Shane setting that all up, and otherwise Chad was going to have to drive. So, yeah, right. But thanks for your time and your insight, Lane. We'll hopefully get you back on the show again real soon. And for Chad and Shane, I'm Greg, and for Lane, that's going to wrap it up for this piece of the show. Until next time, I got here's to ya. That's some serious clinking right there in the hop yard.
That's right.
Well, Shane, Lane's got a lot of info there.
He does. That was longer than I thought it was going to be.
It was, but it was. Well, I think we could have went longer.
We probably could have.
But Lane likes to talk beer.
Yeah, that's good.
As a true brewer, that's why he's been at the Bobber all these years.
Right.
He was a home brewer prior to that, and he says he still does some home brewing on the side for just his own pleasure. So
exactly,
it's a good place to experiment. But yeah, interesting stuff, and that's what's neat about. The hop yard up there, Luxy13. Now, you and I hadn't been there prior.
No.
And I didn't know really that much about them.
Right.
But good folks up there, and they've been at it for 4 years, and they really service the small breweries in the central or Minnesota area.
Right.
At least for now, because people don't realize that, the hop, it sounds like there's some real big companies that supply hops to the Shells,
exactly,
and Summits, and whatever's. And find it nice to do something local and something smaller scale. And
Luxy13, they concentrate on the small breweries, and that's kind of their market, right?
Yeah, right.
And they've got a 1 acre hop yard, right? And I'm sure that'll expand as they grow.
Sure.
And who knows how big they could get, right? But you got to start somewhere, and to be able to supply hops to Bobbing Bobber and Sisyphus and
Bad Habit,
exactly,
22 Northman,
and
so on and so on. So and they maybe not supply all their hops, but some, and for certain batches and certain brews. So good for them. But,
exactly.
Interesting stuff. We'll have Lane on the show again. He enjoys talking. He said, I'm up for doing that again. So we've had him in the studio before. We'll probably do that again too.
I'm sure we will.
So, but anyway, it was good. I hope you got gleaned some information out of that as well. Hope you enjoyed the show. And otherwise, is that going to wrap it up?
I think so.
Well, that's Beer Chat with the Beer Guys. For Shane Zeppelin, I'm Greg Johnson. And until next time, beers to ya. Yeah. Sleeps with the fishes.
If you like this episode, check out this one right here.
It's a good one.